and welcome to Friday Night Lights, a podcast about sports at Menlo from the coat of arms. We are your hosts, Asher Darling
and Devin Schaefer.
Today, we are joined by Menlo varsity football head coach Todd Smith and senior wide receiver Jack Enright. The team currently sits at a 6-3 overall record and is 1-3 in the Peninsula Bay League. Menlo will face off against their rival, Sacred Heart, in the 22nd annual Valpo Bowl at 7:30 on Friday night.
Okay, so we first just want to talk a little bit about how you guys moved up leagues this year. So after you finished 5-0 in the Danza League last year, you're now in the Peninsula Bay League. So how's it been adjusting to like a higher league?
The level of competition is definitely much higher. Playing teams we don't usually play in league, like Los Gatos and Wilcox. Just much bigger schools, bigger players, better athletes, but it's been fun to compete with them.
Yeah, I just think the biggest difference between leagues is at the line of scrimmage, which tends to be a position that we don't field very well because of our numbers and our school size. So that's been the biggest difference, and something that we've tried to mask as best we could, but it's pretty tough. But with the exception of the Los Gatos game, I think we've competed very well in the league.
That's great. And so you guys snapped a losing streak last week against Paoli with a big win. And so I'm curious to hear what that momentum shift was like for the team ahead of the biggest week of the season, which is Sacred Heart.
I think it was really huge for our offense to get some confidence back. We had some challenges scoring the first 3 games in league. So it was really a big confidence boost to put some points up on Palo Alto, who's a respectable team in our league. So I think that's really going to carry over into our Valpo Bowl game.
Yeah, I mean, it always feels good. Anytime you beat any league opponent in this league, it's a good win. You know, Palo Alto beat Sacred Heart Prep 14-7. They're a capable football team, and it just seems like, for the most part, in any given day that any team can beat anybody. Certainly certain matchups don't favor certain teams. I would have liked to see us end a little bit better. We were up 27-0, and so sometimes we have a tendency to take the foot off the gas, so to speak, and I think the focus of this week is really just about finishing in everything we do, whether it be a drill, whether it be a team period, team segment, or a pods period.
Mm-hmm.
And then so like going off of that at practice this week, like what have you guys been doing to prepare for the game this week?
I think we've been really focused on the details this week, executing, doing everything perfectly. In every drill, like you said, from the start of practice too, just from like warm-ups, just being really detailed and focused. It's been the biggest thing so far.
Well, the first thing that comes to mind too is we've completely changed our practice schedule too because of the light. We're always fighting the light, so we're starting our practice now 35 minutes beforehand, which is very challenging with a small football team because a lot of our guys, we started practice yesterday with 18 players, and that's really tough because our trainers are doing such a good job of trying to get everybody out while servicing, in-season sports, and it's tough right now in the training room because soccer started, basketball started, and so we've got a number of athletes that they got to take care of, and so that's been tough. Immediately at 3:00, our guys have to go to the training room, and then they have to get their PT done. And our staff, like I said, does a really thorough job of making sure that all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed. But with that being said, is that we're starting practice sooner, so that's the first thing that we've changed. That's really, made guys be more detailed about what they're doing immediately after school and getting all their ducks in a row before they're coming out to practice.
Are there any parts of the game that you guys feel are like specific points of emphasis that you really need to focus on ahead of the Sacred Heart game?
I just think we need to play like a really clean game.
Mm-hmm.
We've had some troubles with penalties in the past, and I just don't think we should give them any momentum. It's gonna be a really fun atmosphere, and I don't want to get their student section involved at all. So penalties, dumb mistakes, just limit that as much as possible. Play our game. So I think that's one thing that's going to be big for us.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. We have a tendency, too, to be plus on the turnover ratio, so taking care of the football and taking the football away is going to be something that's going to be integral part of the game's result. I know defensively that we're really eyeballing, stopping the run and making sure that our motion adjustments are clean in all of our fronts, which is very technically difficult, especially if you don't have certain guys at practice when practice starts. So it's a constant theme of going back and forth. Does everyone know what we're doing? And making sure they're looking at the documents that have been set out with all of our checklists, our coverage checklist.
And then going off Jack's point about, like, the environment on the field at Valpo Bowl, like, Jack, since you played in the game last year, like, what is that like at Valpo Bowl? How's that different from other games? And,
we don't play another game like it where both student sections are just completely packed. I mean, it's so much fun playing under the lights. Like, we really don't get a better environment. Sometimes the noise can be a problem on the field in games like this when there's really high attendance, but it's just, I don't know, I just love the experience.
Yeah, so I remember last year we had the whole thing with the lights here at Menlo. But I'm curious to hear from you guys, what does the rivalry mean just on both sides, and what would a win over Sacred Heart mean for the program?
The players, we know a lot of those guys, so we want to beat them. We've been playing against them in summer and during the season for the past 3 years and 4 years. And right now, my class at least, we're 2-1 right now, or we're losing. We have a losing record for Sacred Heart Prep, at least the seniors. So it really means a lot to us to win this one. So we finish with a 2-2 record versus them. Don't want to give them the last laugh, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's really big, and it goes pretty deep, not only with the players that are currently playing the game, but the former players are they talk to me quite a bit, going back and forth and reminding me of how important this game is, and quite honestly, and where we're at with the football program is it's really a difference in our recruiting and admissions, and that's just the truth of it. And so we're doing a really good job. Our administration and our admissions department is doing a really good job of identifying kids that want to play football in high school through 4 years, and families that are committed to play, and we need to attract those families. And there's no really other way to put it, no way around it. When you're able to, hold the Valpo trophy, and it's a close decision, sometimes those are the tipping points that'll attract younger athletes, that'll help the development and sustainability of our football program.
Right.
Do you feel like, kind of going off of that, do you feel like there's a mutual respect between the two programs, and how would you say that relationship is?
I'd say we respect them as a team. They've had a lot of success in the past. I don't think they have a lot of respect for us. I don't think that they think that we're a very good team now, or that we have been in the past. And I think they play like that each year. They come out acting like they're better than us. So it just makes the rivalry a bit more heated.
I would love to say no comment on this one, but I agree with Jack. I really do, and it's unfortunate too. We do have we have a deep respect for them and the way that they play football. I think we think that we're a more together football team. You think that's right, Jack?
Yeah.
About how we feel about one another, which means everything in this football program. So I think that we have an edge in that standpoint. I also think, it's personal. I'll just put it at that. And after last year when they beat us at home, and it was a pretty good football game, and they went to our Menlo logo in the middle of the 50, and that's where they decided to sit down and do their post game. So I took that personally. I've always kicked myself for not saying anything to any one of their football coaches or even our administration. I was still, kind of thinking about our guys and how to speak to them at that point. But I took that personally, and I took that as a sign of, that you really don't respect us. But that's okay. We're still going to be humble in nature, and we're going to attack this like a a professional and with some maturity and with some details. But it is personal.
Yeah. And we've seen things get chippy between the two teams in the past, which is a sign of a healthy rivalry. I want to hear from you guys, right? 7 o'clock on Friday, and like what can be a hostile environment down at Sacred Heart. How important it is to set the tone before the game and come out energized in that first quarter.
It's super important because, momentum can mean everything in a game. It can totally change the course. So coming out strong, being aggressive from the first snap, I can just totally show them that we're here to play, here to win, here to push them around. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's everything. How do you act, beginning of the first and the end of the fourth? We talk about that all the time. And you got to limit big plays. You got to limit mistakes, procedural stuff that has hurt us in the past. And we got to play our type of football, everything top down on the back end defensively, and we've got to sustain some first downs. We've got to have some ball control. We've got to be a little bit balanced, which I'm a little nervous about. We haven't been able to run the ball very well last couple weeks, so we're going to need to be balanced. We can't just sit back and be in a passing situation all down.
Yeah, so you mentioned stopping the run, and I've heard that Sacred Heart has this transfer running back that came from Los Altos that's really stood out for them. So what's going to be crucial for the team in stopping the run and forcing Sacred Heart into these passing situations?
I'd say our tackling, because he's a big kid, but if we just stay true to our form and we're aggressive at the point of contact, I don't think he'll be a problem for us.
Team tackling. So getting 11 blue hats to the ball is going to be really, really important, and being aggressive and fitting up properly and making sure that when we strike, we're doing all the right things and working through the strike zone and pinning our elbows when we're fitting and doing all the things that we work on every day in our tackling circuit. And do it consistently, like doing it when we're tired, doing it when we're fresh, and not picking and choosing when we want to do it.
That's all we have for today. Thank you, Coach Todd and Jack, for coming on to our podcast, and good luck in Friday's game. Before we close, let's take a moment to catch you up on other Menlo sports. After defeating St. Francis 13-7 in the West Catholic Athletic League semifinals, girls water polo lost 18-3 to Sacred Heart in the WCAL finals on Saturday, November 2nd. They face off against Stevenson in the CCS Open Division quarterfinals on Saturday, November 9th. The senior girls doubles pairing of Kate Shaw and Izzy Klugman won the West Bay Athletic League individual doubles tournament on Tuesday after defeating a Harker duo 7-5, 6-0 in the final. They will play in the Central Coast Section individual tournament after the team tournament next week.
Varsity girls volleyball had their season ended when they fell to top-seeded Harbor in 5 sets in the Division IV CCS playoffs.
And that's it for today's episode of Friday Night Lights. Thanks for listening.